Hey everyone, Jesse here with another 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise for you. Last time in part 1 we looked at just the real basic up and down, 1, 2, 3, 4, going forward and then goes backwards on the way back down, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we talked about some of the benefits of that. So check out part 1 if you didn't see that to kind of get you going with these. Remember, in some of these, they're much more technical and just exercises rather than musical ideas, but as we progress a little bit through some of these different versions of these 1, 2, 3, 4 style exercises, you're going to find that there are musical applications for them and things that they help you with in real songs and developing certain techniques. So do realize that they do have a musical value as well in one way or another. So anyways, today we're going to talk about what I call the Steve Vai 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one comes out of Steve's book called, I believe it's the 30-hour guitar workout. And so this one starts out exactly the same way as the previous one did, but you'll see where it changes in a second. So I'm going to do all alternate picking, down up picking with my picking hand. And we're just going up all the strings. But then when we get to the end and we're on that last note, then what we do, and this is where it differs from the previous one, is that it's going to shift up a fret and we're going to continue the pattern going up. So we're not going to go backwards. We're going to go back down the strings, but we're actually going to keep ascending with our fingers. Still keeping that 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Okay. Then we're going to shift again when we get to the end there. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, and you just want to keep working on those, increasing the speed. And the goal with this one is to go all the way up the neck as far as you possibly can go. Okay, and for each guitar that's going to be a little bit different depending on how much of a cutaway and how many frets you have, but just go as far as you can stand. Okay, and that's going to give you, just besides the endurance factor, because it will kind of get tiring after a while, it's also going to help you just get comfortable with different positions on your neck as your neck gets wider up here, but also as the frets get closer together. So it's beneficial in that way too, just getting you real comfortable all over your fretboard. So one of the things you'll probably want to start out with is with your metronome, because remember, the metronome's key here. We can start with eighth notes, right? So that'd be 2 notes per beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And then try it sixteenths if you're a little bit more intermediate or advanced and you're working on getting that speed up. Right? So that's all 4 notes on a string per beat. Okay? And so what you want to do after you do that basic version of this is you want to move on to trying some odd numbered combinations here. And the reason that you want to do that is because in the real world of playing scales and different licks and stuff like that, you're going to find that you're not always going to have an even number of notes per string. And so what you want to be able to do is be able to alternate in your picking, not just alternate picking in the sense that you're going down up, but actually as you go between strings, sometimes it'll start with an upstroke, sometimes with a downstroke. And I have a lot of students that before they've really worked on their picking, they struggle with this a little bit. So let me just show you what I mean real quick. So let's say we're just going to do 1, 2, 3 instead of all 4 fingers. So we go down, up, down. Now when I go to the next string, I'm starting with an upstroke. Down, up, down on the next string. It's going to be up on the next string. So on and so forth. Okay, and you can try it as 1, 2, 3, you could try it as 1, 3, 4, you could try it as 2, 3, 4, whatever. All those combinations will be great, but just the concept being that you want to have an odd number of notes per string to help you with that more challenging alternate picking pattern. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you is Steve's variation on this exercise, okay, because he really exhausts every possibility in a lot of these exercises from his book, and I do recommend checking it out, even if you're not necessarily into his playing that much, because he really just, has thought through so much over the years and just really exhausts all the possibilities and kind of has a lot of great exercises to help you for any possible challenge that you might face, as well as some cool creative ideas in terms of jamming and working on chords and things like that. So anyways, so here's the variation, and it's a little confusing. It actually makes a little bit more sense if you see it written on paper, because what he does is he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he's going to shift, and he's going to start with 2, 3, 4, 1, and then shift again, 3, 4, 1, 2, so on and so forth. So again, it looks like if you wrote it out on paper, it would make a little bit more sense, but let me just demonstrate it for you quickly here. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, then the next string would be 2, 3, 4, 1, then 3, 4, 1, 2, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then it starts over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now here's the tricky part, because you got to make your shift and keep that weird pattern going. So now it's 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, then shift again. Okay, and so you can see this is all tabbed out if you want to take a look at that file that's attached to this video. But anyway, so that's a pretty crazy variation. It takes a little while. It took me a little while when I first saw it. But again, it's just kind of exhausting possibilities. So you're not getting stuck with the same pattern on every string. It's more real world, because it's not often that you're just going to play something in a song where you're doing the same exact pattern on every string and the same fingering and everything. So you want to be ready for those variations. Last little tip is that with all these exercises, you want to practice them clean, okay? And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that you can hear every little detail and make sure you're not missing notes, and really be able to practice without the distraction of any added tone elements. That being said, once you get comfortable with these and you know that you're playing them pretty cleanly, I encourage you to add some overdrive or even some heavy distortion. And the reason for that is because one of the things that we need to work on for those of us that like some rock guitar tone is that you need to learn how to control all the extra noise that generates when you have some overdrive or distortion, okay? And so again, practice clean first, but then add in the distortion like so. And then you can work on controlling using some dampening techniques, resting your hand against any strings you're not playing, and also just trying to keep things from ringing out too much. So that sounds like this. Okay, so just you want to work on that after you've worked on it clean. So thanks for checking in on this episode. Do check out my website, jesseandreysonstudios.com, to get more instructional videos and articles and some music. And also, please, if you click on the subscribe button to the YouTube channel here, that would be great as well. Thanks again. See you next time.